YouTube, what's good with y'all, man? It's your boy Justice coming at y'all with another YouTube read, another collective energy read. I hope this finds you guys at a clarifying time of your day. Remember to take what resonates and please leave the rest behind. I appreciate your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. Let's go ahead and get started though. Angels of the highest white light, please bestow upon me clear and concise channel messages from my collective needs to you today. Accommodate with my general being one. Thank you and Ashe. So, whoever I'm tapping into, a lot of you guys have powerful, like, ancestry and things like that, so it's going to be one of those ancestors messages. But you have a spiritual team that your enemies often regret forsaking before coming at you. There's something about your mission's going to have to be carried out regardless of those that do not want to or do not feel like they can allow to see themselves, see you upon your journey, or anything of that nature. Anybody wants to stop your path, or anybody that wants to take any further measures than that. This is like that type of message. A lot of you guys come from ancestries that, you know, maybe incarnated beings that when they were here, they may have done some like major things, right? A lot of you guys come from lineages of shamans, healers, a lot of ancestral protections of wisdom, knowledge keepers. And a lot of times you guys get this, you know, this warfare spiritually, whether it's, you know, through the occult or whether it's through, you know, people close to you trying their hand at certain things, right? A lot of you guys have found out or have gotten accustomed to your spiritual ancestors protecting you in the spirit because that's what they're accommodated for in terms of where they go after, and their connectivity through this realm remains through their descended ancestor, whoever the descendant is. And so that could be just an eye-opener for somebody. But a lot of you guys have a team around you. A lot of you guys are connected to certain lineages. Shout out to any type of ancient Egyptian kind of connection, right? A lot of you guys have maybe, you know, a lot of different types of connections, right? And like I'm channeling like some type of Hindu background, you know, certain, you know, a lot of natives practice Hinduism. That's a interesting, that's a whole different topic to get into. But either way, a lot of times people come against you or take an oath. You know, I'm getting into the depths of these kind of messages. Take an oath against you, go at you, think they can do something because they've done something to somebody else, try to trap you, bind you, traffic you, gaslight you, all these things. But it never goes unchecked by your ancestry. And so a lot of times people think they can get away with things too. In terms of when something's activated, something's not going to be activated to come out until something calls them out, right? In terms of you having the correspondence, I tell all my personals that you have the correspondence to tell and act upon. If you have that connectivity to your ancestry, you can call upon your ancestors. That is the purpose of these things, to watch over you in the spiritual realm, because you're occupying the physical plane, right? And so a lot of times, you know, I always said that in my personals, a lot of people don't know that. A lot of times they can't enact upon your free will. They can't enact against your free will. That's really the message. But just side notes. But a lot of times, you know, people, these things add up. It doesn't mean it's unchecked. It doesn't mean that it's not seen. And a lot of times people can misconstrue those things because of what they felt to get, you know, validated for or get away with, so to speak. But a lot of times, a lot of you guys' ancestors go to war behind you. And a lot of times, a lot of you guys' ancestors have ranking from maybe past life history. And so when those things come into element, that's just a closer connectivity to the source, right? And so a lot of times people don't recognize these fabrics of reality because it's not seen by the five senses, right? But it's very much there and active and at one with our realm right down here, right? And so when you understand the continuous cycle of as above, so below, basically, you understand that everything is documented, everything is checked, everything is added up. And so there's something that energetically accrues or triggers or warrants something in your ancestries when these type of attacks can come towards you. A lot of you guys have commented under my videos talking about, you know, a lot of different attacks that were supposed to do certain things to you and the reasons that it didn't. you know, and a lot of you guys acknowledge and understand your power of your ancestry. A lot of people don't, in terms of, you know, being in connectivity with that and what that really provides. Because there's many beings that go into making you at this time on a physical level, right? And it's very interesting. But a lot of times you guys have a certain backing behind you that gets right at people's souls, right? And certain times people can target you under this illusion or under this propaganda even that this world is, you're starting to see these propagandas starting to crumble and the impulsivities of that. That's a whole different topic. But it's based on these turnaround events with the awakenings of so many beings like the ones that I'm aligned with. And when you're awakening to that point, you're understanding certain things, right? And so when you understand certain things, you may be targeted for certain things you understand and know. And so when you're targeted for certain things you know or you possess, there's certain things that can activate with the backing behind you. And so a lot of people learn those things the hard way. It's kind of what this message is kind of confirming. And oftentimes they start to, you know, kind of back off a little bit in terms of how they treat and assess you. And it's not usually about that. It's about respect, right? And so a lot of you guys as ancestors don't play games with these types of agendas and occult type of sacrificial agendas and things like this, these trafficking agendas. And so a lot of people get cleared out. A lot of things happen to certain beings. What are you seeing to the people in power? What are you seeing through? There's a lot of things happening to people in power that a lot of people want answers for, but those people are scouring behind the scenes and cowering behind the scenes because they know the end is near. And when I say the end is near, the end of this cycle of life, right? The end of this cycle of what this has controlled and dominated a population of people. And a lot of you guys are very, like, I was gonna say small, but like it's really not. Big intervals in terms of what's connected at this domino effect. And so a lot of times people come at you on these type of small agendas but don't even recognize what your ancestries have been through or don't recognize your ancestors' presence at all until it illuminates. And so these types of things are happening for a certain reason because certain agendas are being flipped on its ass, basically, on its axis, right? And so a lot of these agendas and occult orders or propagandas against a lot of your lives are going to start to kind of fly away the more and more and more. And when I say fly away, it's going to fly up first because it's got to come from the root. So a lot of you guys may have been experiencing or have been experiencing certain impulsivities of certain agendas and certain groups that may have been targeting you. And so these things are correlating to a connection, a unified connection to what is happening on the spiritual level in this world. A lot of things are flipping around and gonna start making people or making things come up out of people. And so I've been talking about this for about 6 months now, right? And so a lot of things are coming up in terms of what's illuminating. And I was just talking about that walking trigger thing. A lot of this could still be correlated in terms of this aspect. A lot of you guys could be just a primordial trigger to people in terms of their ambition, their lust towards your energy, or on that level that I was speaking in the video, in terms of you just illuminating truth or being yourself authentically, which can be a threat to people that cannot do that because they're binded to something else, right? And so a lot of times these people, you know, it's an incentive to go at you, right? Your vessel or your energy, your spirit. And there's a certain kind of gratification that they're seeking that is usually the trap for where the Most High can come through or where your ancestries can come through. And so a lot of you guys have this connection to your ancestors, or you've learned to stay close to them or stay close knitted and to kind of receive information, right? Because there's a certain dynamic of politics that's going on in the world right now, and there's a certain dynamic of it crumbling at this time right now, and it's just slow. But that impulsivity that's going to rise is going to prove what I'm saying to be true in a lot of different cases. A lot of us have similar situations that I connect to on this channel. A lot of you guys connect directly to these stories that I'm implementing, or these, you know, these analogies on such a level, and we're experiencing it from a whole different lens. It's so interesting. but it's all crumbling in some way. But through that crumbling, there's a lot of destruction, reform, and a lot of different things that are going to happen in terms of conclusions. 2025 is the year of the 9. And if you, even on a numerology level, it's a conclusion number. Ending of cycles, massive cycles. If last year was a karmic one, the illumination of energy, the illumination of information, illumination of people's secrets, then this one's the conclusion of that cycle. And so that's just another perspective. But a lot of you guys just come from ancestry that just don't play about you, because you guys got major missions, and that's the last part I'm gonna go into. A lot of you guys have major aspects of where you play in this, whether that's just you being a generational, not just, but a generational pattern breaker that I like to say now. Like in terms of breaking the loop, right? And that doesn't have to be in your family. It could be in an industry way. It could be you defying something. This is that time and age. This is that time to be able to do it, because the time and the portals are opening up for you to be able to do it. The same things are not limiting and restricting us the same ways that they used to. And if it is still, it's at the last leg of it. It's at the highest projection of it, right? Because a lot of things are coming up to surface in this day and age that are to be released. And a lot of you guys have dealt with a lot of different abuses for certain spiritual politics and reasons that pertain to the occult. And so you're going to see a lot of these things falling from as much power that we thought or assumed or we recognized them to have before. And so that is the purpose for these type of turnarounds, right? A lot of things that come at you, you may not even receive. A lot of you guys that are tapped into this energy, you may not even understand or even see or even remember or know that certain things were sent at you that weren't even touching you because of your ancestry, because of the Most High. And so it's like one of those messages. But a lot of people that take to your energy, if they're a little intimidated by your energy, a little thrown off by your energy, it's not usually your energy. It's usually what stands behind your energy. And so that's the realization, right? So going, to follow back and to end off on that still point, on that point of where I was talking about, in terms of a lot of you guys have missions that you're going to complete, in terms of the Most High is not going to let anything get in the way of what you're here to do. And a lot of times people want to be an adversary to something that they can't control. And so that's kind of what you guys are proved to be. And it's just an affirmation to keep on going the same way you know to keep going. In terms of the alignment that you're paving through. Because the validation's on the other end of the tunnel. And so that's just an affirmation for somebody. And I think that's my last one. If you need a personal, hit me up. Hit my email up, Shamikason with a C and Shamika@gmail.com. Besides that, I'm trying to think. I had some other messages. I can start to feel energy so much more sensitively. It's so interesting. But somebody just passed by. But I have a couple of partnerships if you guys are interested. 20% off of Rose Forever New York if you're interested in any rose bouquets, anything like that. Any type of flower decor. 20% off will be in the description below. Otter Spirit is also another jeweler company that sells vibration enhancing jewelry that's embedded through its crystals. That have crystals embedded through it. And Amazon Web Services for 20% off of any programming, web development, toolkits, and apps associated with those things. Besides that, it's your boy Justice. I'm sending my love and ashe. Appreciate your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. And peace out.